All right, it's just about 9 o'clock, so I say we go ahead and get rolling. Welcome back, everybody. Hope everybody had a good 3-day weekend last week and a good weekend this week. Today we're going to go over what one rookie agent did he's getting freshly licensed, and what he did in the first 18 months of his business to generate over 26 million in sales. So before we get started, though, we have Andrew with the mortgage update. How's it going, Andrew? Yep, he's got to unmute.
I'm here. Sorry.
There you go. No problem.
All right, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Okay, I can't come on. Okay, all right. So let me see if I can share my screen real quick. Let's grab this guy. All right, are you seeing my rates?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, so for today, you can see this is based on a 700 credit score buyer purchase, buying a $900,000 home, which is, I don't know, what is that? Is that a 1-bedroom condo these days downtown?
Some areas, yeah.
Two bedrooms, 1 bath, 1 car garage. So at 900 grand, put 800 down, so about 12%, 11% or so, and a couple of different options here. So you can see rates for this particular guy starting off Monday morning are anywhere from 4.5% to up to 6.5% for different loans. So let's just say rates are floating right around 5.25, which looks to be also the national average currently. So they're floating around this way. There's a couple things going on with these different loans. This one at the top, ideally, if you look at this type of a loan for your client, this is a 5.6 ARM, so it's an adjustable rate, but it has lender paid PMI, which means generally the interest rate tends to be a little bit higher so it's at 5.5. This might be a little bit smaller if they paid their own PMI, their own mortgage insurance within this number. As you scroll down here, you look, here's a potential fee for MI, $666 or $61 for the same. This is all based off the same loan. Come down here, it's only 240 down at the bottom here. So, and the difference here between these two is FHA versus conventional. So this is including the FHA fee that's charged, but look at this rate, 4.5%. The payment, 4.19. The total payment, 48. But if we come back up here, this adjustable rate ARM still ends up having almost a $300 a month lower payment. Now, this particular loan, if rates were in the 3s, we wouldn't even be looking at this. But because they are in the 5s, and we're looking at different products to try and keep basically this monthly payment as low as possible for the client to allow them to get into the property that they want. That's why we're seeing a lot more use of different products. So at this point, what I would suggest when you're speaking with your clients is to make sure that they look at multiple loan options versus just the typical grab an FHA, grab a conventional VA, which VA or USDA have some limitations to them. But, looking at different options for your buyer is going to be a key part of how we work, and hopefully how if they're not working with us, their lender is also looking at different options. If we come down here, this third one down, this MI Buster, this is actually what I want to talk about. This is probably one of the coolest products that we have. Now, it's not the lowest rate or the lowest monthly payment, but the difference here in this is this particular borrower was able to, put less money down only 10% down to get into this product. So because of the way it's set up, this particular buyer, this house is only 900 grand. But if this buyer, if this loan was at, say, $1.5 million, instead of putting 300,000 down to get this particular product, he would only have to put 150 down, 10%. So he keeps 150 grand in his bank account using this particular program. The rate is a little bit higher for this, but he has no MI. So this whole payment is also, all the interest and everything is tax deductible. These numbers up here, like this is not tax deductible. This is just a fee. If you, it's looked at as like if you had a car payment of $661. That not being here, everything built into the principal and interest allows him to, one, keep more money in his pocket by using this particular product. So a buyer that is buying at, in San Diego and in California, let's say $1 million or higher, they're going to benefit because they're only going to have to put down 20% or I'm sorry, 10% to get into this product. And it's going to allow them, keeping 100 grand, 150 grand or so in your pocket when you're buying a property, especially if you're planning only to be there 5 or 6 years. That's a huge benefit for someone at that caliber of income and where they're buying at this property. So this product's pretty huge. Overall, in this scheme of things, I would probably push my client to use this particular arm if they were comfortable with an arm, because the only way to change this or to lock it in is to refinance it within the 5 years that you see here. So that is an important piece to this. But so if your client is a savvy financial person, which you'll probably understand real quick when you meet them, they're going to do really well with this, and they're going to have the lowest monthly payment. A conventional high balance, this at the bottom, this is your bare bones conventional loan, and we're right here at 6.5%. And that's for this amount, not for the average. But again, in San Diego, LA, Northern Cal, this price point and this loan is not going to be that uncommon. So, this rate's going to be high because of that. And this is potentially needing, if this was a higher amount, this might need a 20% down payment to even get in here. But there's $240 of mortgage interest or mortgage insurance added into this to get that $5,300. But you can see what I wanted you guys to kind of see is, one, there are some benefits to looking and talking about different products. FHA is not something that we look at all the time unless there's a need for it. But in some cases, like this one, if your client wasn't comfortable with this arm and they wanted to just be locked into, a 30-year fixed payment that's not going to change on them at all, because this one could go up, and it could go up after 5 years above this 48. But this is a great loan for that client that's like, I'm not comfortable with this. I don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 years. What if it's worse? And I get really dinged here because I'm already pretty close to, the highest amount of money I can pay for my mortgage. I could pay for 448 or 4,800, but if this jumped to 52 or 55 because of the adjustable rate, I might lose my house. So all of a sudden, this FHA loan becomes very interesting for this client, and it's much better than a standard conventional 30-year that's basically $500 more a month. So there's definitely options. What you guys want to do when you're talking with your buyers, if they're not savvy about what they're doing, if they're coming in new, please send them over to us so we can kind of show them this same type of thing. Let them see their options. Let them see what type of loans are available to them. And I had probably double amount of this. I just picked these to show you guys. So there are other options. They don't change a whole lot, and that's why I only needed a few. But we go through this with your clients and give them the opportunity to choose which one might make sense. Because of how they want to run their finances. So rates are right around 5.25, 5.5. We've got options for different loans, the way we process and show these to your clients. And we do have the MI Buster, which for higher balance allow us to get really good rates with just a 10% down payment. So keep that in mind if you have a client that is looking and potentially can afford $1 million+ house, but they don't have, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 in liquid down payment money. So I hope that helps. If you have more questions, please reach out.
Awesome. That's great info. And, looking at that somewhat spreadsheet or slide that you have, I think a lot of people are going to jump into, hey, I just want the, 30-year fixed conventional, high balance. That was actually the worst option payment-wise if they were payment sensitive.
Right.
So, definitely shopping it around, not only to different lenders, but having the lender shop the product itself and offer these different options, because it really might open up, the borrower's eyes to something that might fit their budget or their lifestyle or their beliefs a little better when it comes to finances.
Yeah, and this one, this one that was the highest payment, the conventional, which a lot of times a lender will go with a conventional loan because they tend to be easier than, say, that FHA loan that has the lowest monthly payment for a 30-year fix. There is a little bit more work, but it's worth it because it's almost $450 a month difference. And so over a year, that's $5,000. I mean, that's a vacation if you looked at it that way.
Yeah, it's serious money. So
yeah, so a lot of options. Like I said, if you have more questions, please reach out.
Awesome, thanks for that. Quick announcement before we get started. So over the past, I don't know, maybe I guess year and a half or so, we had switched over. For those of you that have been with the company for a while, that we were using paperless pipeline before for the transaction management system. We had switched over to Proppy. They had some, bright and shiny objects. One of them being the offers dashboard, which I did really like. They had a focus on crypto and things like that they're moving towards. And I really think that they have a lot of good things in the works, but there's been a lot of challenges with the team as far as navigation, usability, glitches, things like that. So we've gone ahead and made the decision to switch back to Pipeline, which is actually cool because they've made some improvements over there too. One of it is with, processing CDAs and things like that. So we're going to be rolling out Pipeline this week. We'll be giving everybody new user accounts for Pipeline. And if you have a deal going and it's in Proppy, just finish that out as usual. And then any new deals, please put into Pipeline moving forward. And this Wednesday, we're going to do a training on Pipeline and show you an improved CDA process we're going to be implementing, and just things to make your overall transaction processing smoother. So if you have any questions on that, you can reach me direct, but I think it's a good move. We've been testing, retesting, I guess, for the past week or so. And it's just a little workhorse. It runs really well. We don't run into glitches. It's very smooth. The checklists are very prominent, and there's not a lot of layers to it. So please join us on Wednesday to go over that new process and then just get an overview of Pipeline itself. So with that said, I'm going to roll into basically top 10 things that a rookie agent did to close over 26 million in sales in his first 18 months of getting licensed. Real quick, let me backtrack. The Wednesday webinar is at 9 o'clock. So jump on then. So I had come across a Facebook post over in Lab Coat and this agent had posted in there, and he just offered up basically the 10 things that he did his first 18 months to get where he was and to build year over year business. And I thought it was a really selfless post. He provided a lot of pretty concise information, and obviously a lot of people piped in. He answered a lot of questions, so it didn't seem like it wasn't a gloating post. It was a very informative post. And so I asked him, "Hey, you mind if I, make a webinar out of this?" And he said, "Sure, take the content." So I thought I would share what he shared with the group if you didn't see that post. So this guy, Joe, he had been licensed for about 18 months, but he's currently licensed still. He offered up these great insights. You'll notice that there's no magic pill he had. He wasn't doing just one thing hardcore. He was doing many different things. So there wasn't a magic pill to his success. It was basically just going out there and trying multiple things, seeing what worked, and then continuing to work on the ones that worked. He implemented a multitude of marketing tasks, generate leads, build relationships for referrals. Basically, anybody can do some or all of these tasks, these marketing tasks, transform their business in the back half of this year. So first thing he did, well, I don't want to say the first thing he did. One of the things he did is he partnered up with lenders who had been in the business for a minimum of 3 years and doing 10 million or more in funding. And his strategy behind that was he wasn't asking the lenders to send him pre-approved clients or anything. I think that may have come afterwards. But basically what he did is he offered to go back to their database and call everyone to follow up on their behalf to see, actually on the lender's behalf, to see how the experience was working with that lender. Casually throughout the conversation, he would ask if they had left a review for that lender. If they didn't, he would provide him that lender's review link to leave them a review when they were done with the conversation. He said the conversation usually lasted maybe 2 or 3 minutes. So I thought this was an excellent idea because basically he was leveraging someone else's database of, closed homes. So if you don't have a database going, I mean, this was an excellent way for him to kind of, leverage that. Also throughout the conversation, he would put some feelers out to see if they're interested in an update of their home value and to see how much their home had appreciated since purchasing. This would open up conversations about potentially selling. So, this wasn't a database of last month people. This was the database. So there could have been loans that this lender closed years back in there. And maybe he focused on that first. Maybe you can have your own strategy with this if you decide to do something like this. For those of you using Sierra Interactive or maybe a contact management system similar to that, this is a great way to build up your database of homeowners and get them marketing reports on a consistent basis, which is going to start putting you in front of them every few months with an updated home value. So it's kind of a good way to start building a relationship with someone that you hadn't even really done business with at all. But you can potentially become their next listing agent by, implementing something like this. He sent out iBuyer letters and mailers. He was really heavy his first year on this. He said his first year he sent out about 36,000 pieces of mail. From those 36,000, he said he had about a 2% reach back in some sort of way. And depending on how the conversation went, he would add them to his database and basically start nurturing them. He'd stay on top of them. He said he sold 3 homes last year off market and represented both buyer and seller from those letters. So, there are iBuyer companies out there that you can partner up with to basically send a referral to, but it doesn't mean that those people are going to do that. It's just, this was his pitch to get them to reach out to him about this program. More often than not, they end up not going that route, especially when they start looking at fees and stuff like that for the iBuyers. So he said this year he's already has two potential, or he's already listed two properties from about 4,000 mailers, and he's sending out the just listed, just sold, under contract postcards and flyers to those prospects, and the rest of them are iBuyer letters in his farm area. So he does have a designated farm area he's working. So keep that in mind if you're going to be doing that. I talk about this so often, calls to database and SOI. So 5 of his transactions and 2 listings came from direct reach out calls to his database and his sphere of influence so far this year in 2022. So we're 6 months and 6 days into the year. He's already done 7 transactions here just from calling his sphere of influence and the database that he's been building. So this is a huge one. You know, these are your best leads all the time. Your sphere of influence for sure is always your strongest area to get prospects from and to do business with. So maybe some of those in his database came from those lenders that he was partnering up with. They could have been, you know, other ones from these iBuyer letters, things like that. But he's basically building up a big database. Social media marketing, excuse me. So he stated that he likes to think of himself as a marketer who is currently in the position of value-adding realtor. So that's the kind of mindset that he has when he is doing his social media marketing. So he said last year about 60% of his business came from social media marketing, you know, give or take. Instagram stories, posts, reels, TikTok. He said he got a $1.3 million listing from TikTok. Facebook, of course. He uses both paid and organic methods of social media marketing and also produces YouTube educational content. So this is stuff that we've touched on numerous times. We've done webinars with Leo. Leo does this kind of marketing as well. He does it for us. Not so much Instagram stories and things like that, but the paid advertisements. So, you know, if you're on social media, if you like social media, think about, you know, the value that you're offering out there. And I love the YouTube educational content. If you decide to build a YouTube channel, I mean, that's a great way to keep your video out there for years to come, because some of the content you're going to be posting on there is relevant for many, many years. So if you have your channel optimized, if you want to build a channel and don't know how to optimize it, let me know and I'll show you some tips on that. But I think that is an excellent thing for business building. Email marketing. So he obviously is building his database. And within that database, he shares his off-market deals that he would get from those mailers he was sending out, as well as larger multifamily and commercial deals for investors or people starting out or wanting to become an investor with a multiplex property. So this is a great angle. It's a great way to, you know, double in deals. You know, he could be sharing these listings that are coming up on the market, these good multifamily deals. He's obviously doing a good job in his contact management system with, you know, putting them into categories. So he has investors in one category and maybe first-time buyers or maybe homeowners in there. So as he's putting them into his database, he's organizing them in a way that he can share certain things specifically to them, like these off-market deals or these good investment deals. I thought this one was really interesting. He does birthday videos. You know, when you're doing your database input, if you have the client's or the prospect's birthday, put that in there so you know. Otherwise, obviously, Facebook gives us new notifications every day of, you know, which one of your friends or connections have a birthday that day. So from both his detailed, you know, data inputs and CRM and notification of social media, he sends out direct videos, just wishing them a happy birthday. Very simple thing. It's something that any one of us can do. And he said he's already, this is something he knew he added into his business, but he's already got a buyer directly from these videos simply by wishing somebody a happy birthday. Systems and processes. So he says he has freak out moments and days just like anybody else out there. He's new, and I'm sure there's times, maybe one week he doesn't have a lot of luck with leads or something like that, and starts freaking out. But he says that having solid processes, SOPs, marketing plans, and CRM help to keep him busy and stay on task with marketing and follow-ups. So maybe he is having kind of a down week, or striking out on a lot of stuff. At least he's still working to build his business, and that keeps his mind from wandering. So if you're going to be trying to build your business aggressively, definitely get these types of things in place. The contact management system is key. Every top producer has a contact management system. Offer presentations. So I've touched on this quite a bit too, not just slapping an offer over and hoping for the best. But if you're in a really competitive market, or maybe you're going up, I know, a lot of areas have slowed down a little bit. We're not seeing as many multiple offer situations, but if you are going up against a multiple offer situation, which we're still going to see often, he says he goes through great lengths to make sure he gets in front of the listing agent for every single offer he sends out. He blows up the phone of the listing agent, text, calls, definitely calling, and he even drives to their office to hand deliver offers sometimes. And that's how he was having success with getting his offers accepted over the past 18 months, which we all know has been kind of crazy. He also has a template for sending out an offer. Makes it extremely simple for the listing agent just to hit the forward button directly to the owner. I thought that was key, because we want to make it as easy as possible on the listing agent, especially if they have multiple offers on that property, to get it over there and get it done. They want to make this as easy as possible. They're fielding a bunch of calls, emails, texts, and everything. So if they have to go and repackage up your offer, or if you're sending it in pieces and stuff like that, they already are frustrated with working with you. So he makes it as easy as possible to get that listing over to the client in a fashion that he wants it to be presented. But this was a good one, targeting people in specific job fields. So, I mean, this is marketing 101 kind of stuff. I don't know, some of you may have come from, other brokerages that had physical offices. Maybe you had, termite inspectors or title companies or lenders coming in and, offering to, buy lunch or do a presentation or something like that. He's doing the same thing. He reaches out to people in specific fields like doctors and nurses, and nurtures them, not only through CRM, but also with actual drop-bys. So what he'll do is, he'll grab donuts or something. Maybe it's a Monday, maybe it's a Wednesday. He'll take them to the hospital. He does coffee Fridays. If you're hesitant about spending marketing dollars on Facebook and other things, these are still marketing dollars, just buying, the big thing of coffee. You're looking at 20 bucks, 25, something like that, depending on the size of the office. If you're buying a few boxes of donuts, 20 or 30 bucks a week, maybe that's a better use of your marketing dollars if you're a very personal person, you like doing drop-bys, face-to-face kind of stuff. He said he's currently doing a huge event next month for Nurse Appreciation Week. This date may have already passed. This post was about a week and a half old. I don't know if it's still Nurse Appreciation Week or if that's coming up or whatnot, but so that kind of got him into the door to do this event for Nurse Appreciation Week. He said he got 2 buyer transactions from nurses and did a deal with the charge nurse there that turned into a referral for another buyer and listing. So this is generating business for him, these drop-bys. He's designated, a couple local hospitals or offices that he's just, doing these drop-bys at. I'm going to pause for a second and check the chats here. Yep, Starbucks Travelers. I think those are the ones that he's sending out. Or if you want to choose maybe a local coffee company that offers that kind of product similar to those Starbucks Travelers, then you're kind of doing two things at once. You're supporting local business and you're doing your drop-bys. And then lastly, he's sponsoring school events. Now, I didn't ask him if he has a child in school or not. Doesn't necessarily matter. Schools are always looking for donations and things like that, regardless of if your child attends the school. So he said it blew his mind that it only cost him $50, which is tax deductible donation, to get a video shown on the screen one weekend for a movie night at a local school. So they were doing a movie night. He put together some little video, gave him $50, and he had a video play in front of the entire attendance there. He said from that $50 donation and video, he got 2 potential sellers he's currently working with now, who are in his 90-day countdown workflow. So he's got 2 potential listing leads. Potentially there's still leads because we're still in the school season for a lot of people, and a lot of people wait until after school season is done to list. So those may turn into listings here pretty quick. I'm not sure. He basically concluded his, oh, yep, there's another good input. So sportsbook programs, Leo mentioned those. I actually know an agent personally who did a sportsbook program, or the programs for the football team at the high school. She noticed that they didn't have a program at all. This is a huge football program at this particular high school by me. And so she offered to create the program for that school. And obviously, since she had it printed and put it together and everything, she threw her own advertisement in there. And she actually got a listing out of that too. The following year, she actually started soliciting local businesses to sponsor it, and made the program even better because then she had some marketing dollars behind it. It wasn't just her footing the bill for the programs, the printing and the time. She got sponsors, she put their ads in there, and that basically funded the program for the local high school football team. So I thought that was a great thing she did. This guy, Joe, he's doing, something different, but similar. So definitely think about that. He concluded that, by having good SOPs and processes has helped him immensely in building his business quickly and spending marketing dollars efficiently. So to wrap it up, what's an SOP? A lot of questions coming in. So SOP is a standard operating procedure. Sales SOPs are steps that standardize sales functions so that the sales process gets performed the same way every time. So, this is a way to run your business efficiently. This is your business, and you need to treat it as such if you want to see it grow. So these are a great way to get your systems in place on how you process sales or generate sales. An SOP should be short, readable segments that describe how to accomplish a specific task. If there are too many steps, consider splitting up subtasks into separate SOPs that reference each other. This results in SOPs that are easier to read and understand, and you'll already have a working SOP library. Let's see here. Aspects of your business that you can create an SOP for. So let's just run through a couple examples here so you can kind of understand. So listing presentations, a lot of times we're out there just kind of winging it. You may have a listing presentation kind of together, but how organized are you really? And are you competing with other agents that have strict organization and process to their listing presentation? So you want to make it from arrival time to the property to exiting. What do you do? How do you greet them at the door? What's the first thing you do? Do you ask them to tour the home first? Do you always sit at the kitchen table? Do you always sit at the couch? You want it to go the way you want it to go every single time. And that will improve your listing process when you're doing the presentation. The listing process. So what do you do every time you get a listing? Are you just kind of winging it? Oh yeah, I need to order the sign. Oh yeah, I need to do this. So get a process in place, write it down. From contract to live on market. Okay, I got the contract, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna scan it in, I'm gonna put it into pipeline. From there, I'm gonna order up the sign, I'm gonna order up the photos, and have your checklist of items so that every single time you take a listing, you're doing the same thing every single time. That will improve your process. You'll forget a lot less things, and it's actually going to improve your efficiency of how you're doing your business from day to day. Marketing tasks. What are you doing for marketing every time you take a listing? Having a listing is your prime opportunity to leverage that for additional leads. This is where you're going to get referrals off signs. This is where you're getting out there to the third-party portals. People are going to be contacting you through there on your listing. So what are you doing to both generate leads and to generate the best offers? So maybe you want an SOP for both of them. Here's what I do to get the best offer, or the highest and best offer, basically, for each one of your listings for your client. And on the flip side, what are you doing marketing wise to leverage that listing to make sure you're getting more leads and traction for yourself as well? So you can break that up into two separate SOPs, because it kind of is. Offer presentations, most definitely. What's your process? Do you call first? Do you text? Do you call then text? Do you call and text? What's it look like when you're presenting your offer to these listing agents, and to make sure that's consistent every single time. Open houses, that's a good one too. Have an SOP for your open house, from promoting it to during the event, registrations, post-event, nurturing the registrations that you got. Have your process in place. So I know a lot of times we do the open house, we don't get the registrations, we're just talking to people, we don't get a lot out of it. So this is, the best time to talk to people who are potentially in the market. Some of them are local, in the neighborhood. They might be thinking about selling their home. We always have those neighbors drop by, force them to register, and then get them into a nurturing system for yourself. Do your follow-ups. So if you have this system in place written out for yourself, you'll make sure that you're capitalizing on every single open house that you're doing, and you'll probably start having a lot more success with them. Creating sticky YouTube content. So if you decide to, start up a YouTube channel and start doing educational content, having your process in place of, okay, every time I do the YouTube, this is what I want in the content section. These are the tags I'm going to put in. This is how I'm going to optimize it. After I do it, I'm going to embed it into my website. I'm going to share it on Facebook. Have your system in place of what you do every single time you create a video. So it's not just throwing a video onto YouTube, SEO plan for organic website growth. Same thing, page by page creation. SEO is a long-term play, but once it starts grabbing hold, it's basically free leads. People find you on the internet more easily, and they reach out directly to you without having to spend those marketing dollars. So it is a long play, but maybe part of your your marketing tasks each week is to create a page on your website, or spend one day creating a few pages. And on each page, you do the same search engine optimization methods on each page, so you can make sure that as you're creating these content pages, each one of them is optimized properly. So these are just some samples of SOPs. You know, there's a lot of information online about it. If you want to, you know, look at implementing this and getting organized with your business, this is something this agent Joe has done from the get-go, day one. Maybe he came from a corporate environment and they did that there, and he implemented that into his business. I know a lot of us maybe haven't heard of SOPs, but this is what they are, and this is how they can help, you know, drive your business forward in a very organized fashion. Other than that, we've been fielding a couple questions as we've been going, but if you have questions on anything, always, you know, reach out. If you want to schedule an appointment with me, we can go over a few of these things, help create a little plan for yourself. But hopefully this was informative for you. And, you know, in a nutshell, just because, you know, if you're newly licensed or getting back into the business, or if you're kind of slow on business, this is all stuff that you can do, and this is what it takes to do those kinds of sales. I mean, this guy is out there getting it, you know, every day of the week. Well, at least 5 days a week, I would imagine. So with that said, I hope everybody has a great week. Be sure to join us on Wednesday to go over pipeline. I think everybody's going to be super happy with it. It's very easy to use. And then we will have an improved CDA process as well. So be sure to join us on Wednesday at 9 a.m. The link is in the back office if you need it, but we will also send one out. Other than that, hope you have a great week, and give me a call if you need anything.